What's up, Starcraft fans? There are 8 new mutators in the most recent Starcraft 2 update, and a bunch of them will be more difficult than we're used to, so let's get right into it. First, we have Assembly of Vengeance on Temple of the Past, with heroes from the Storm and Avenger. I heard that the hero waves are structured differently on Temple of the Past, that instead of getting Nova and Karax on the first hybrid wave at 6 minutes, we will actually get Nova much later. I'm all for this change, and I will definitely try to do this one early to list the order of heroes in my mutation post every week, or for this week in particular. Abathur and Zeratul, as per usual, will be very strong this week. Since Karax and Nova won't spawn until much later, the non-Kerrigan hero units will have ample time to power up their armies and giant lizards before the hard-hitting enemy heroes arrive. Next up, we have Railroad Switch on Oblivion Express with Just Die and Polarity. It's basically a rerun of Together Forever on Chain of Ascension and Die Together on Scythe of Amon. I'm starting to get the feel that this is the new Wheel of Misfortune that gets recycled every few weeks. I hope this isn't the case and Blizzard doesn't use this combo for at least another 30 weeks. I like my variety in co-op mutations. I hope you do too. The good news is that this one is the good news about this one is that all the waves and objectives come to you so that you can set up your walls and tanks properly. The bad news is that the ghosts and hybrid spawning from the trains will get polarity as well, which means both players will need to defend the ramps versus the nukes if the enemy is Terran. Abathur and Dehaka need to work together to get their biomass / essence on the southeast area, and I'll try to get a video on how to do that. Next is Hostile Territory on Dead of Night with Barrier, Photon Overload, and Power Overwhelming. The Infested will be a lot harder to kill with Barrier unless you have stuff that one-shot them. Good luck with Hunterlings if you have them on the first night, since they will now be spellcasters, so whew. Swan, Stukov, Zeratul, Stetman, Karax are all recommended for drawn-out games. This might actually be a better situation to test Dehaka's new Impalers, so that's exciting. Might have to pair him up with Stetman to also test his Lurkers to see how effective they both are. I admittedly don't get to use them a lot, so I will definitely want this opportunity to test them. The rest will need to either finish this before night 4 or do a weird cheese with floating command centers. Not my recommended strategy, but I think this will be an interesting idea for a video nonetheless. Medial Blackout will be on the Vermilion Paradise with Darkness, Missile Command, and We Move Unseen. Static Defense will take care of 2 mutators for you, and Static Defense that don't shoot projectiles in particular will be better since the enemies will send point defense drones later on. Raynor, Swan, Karax, Stukov, and Zeratul will be great for defense here. The rest will be a matter of knowing where the Xenon crystals spawn. Kergis Omega Worms, Observers, Scans, and Deep Tunnel Brutalisks can help you scout where the next crystals spawn. During later crystals, if you full clear the map, you can make an educated guess of where the crystals spawn based on the crystal escort spawns, and I'll show you how that works, I hope. Thunderdome on Lock and Load will have Heroes from the Storm, paired this time with Magnificent. The first wave with Raynor arrives at 4 minutes, so this should be a lot more manageable. Second wave with Dehaka and Tychus are still manageable. The real fight will start when the third wave with Nova and Karax hits. Fortunately for a lot of commanders, this is 10 minutes in, when they also have Immobilization Wave, Death Fleet, Nuke, and Roach Drop available. Precision Strikes, Zerglings, and Infested are a great way to trigger the Magmines safely. You can also try to trigger the mines with your hero units, though I personally prefer them to be used for destroying bases more quickly, because the longer the game goes, the more heroes you will need to fight. And it's not a good thing, because the heroes are quite strong, the enemy heroes that is, and you don't need to attrition them if you don't want to attrition them if you don't need to. Dodge This on Scythe of Amon will be a dance fest with Darkness, Going Nuclear, and Orbital Strike. I can see myself doing a Raynor Vorazun cheese here, but for most guys I recommend going for Zeratul Stetman, as they have a safe way to send free units across the map with Stetman's Roach's Awai and Zeratul's cannon projections. Assuming that they don't get nerfed before then, I'll have to split them up in my video pairings to help the less fortunate commanders. You know who they are. Omega Worms, airlifts, mass recalls, and medevac pickups are a great way to save your army from dying. Something else I noticed about going nuclear is that they tend to go off close to your units and bases, so it's harder early on to move out of your base, but it gets more manageable later on. Just really watch your army. The nukes only provide a few seconds of warning before killing them all off. By the way, what I meant by medevac pickup is just for Tychus. It doesn't work for his ally. So yeah. I know you guys like pointing out everything, so yeah, I put it out for you. Binary choice on Mel Warfare will have Polarity and Void Reanimators. This is particularly annoying because the suppression tower spawns are enemy structures, and therefore will spawn the Void Reanimators, and there's really nothing we can do to eliminate them. The best option for commanders will be to try and cap those towers with static defense and spider mines, and hope the reanimators don't reach base. Other than that, deep tunnel and cannon projectiles are a good way to respond quickly when Void Reanimators start spawning from an unused tower. Maybe marine drops, Omega Worms, stuff like that. Something that will help is to check if there's a constant stream of dudes going at your base. This usually indicates that there's a reanimator just out of your vision range and you have to march out and destroy it to stop the attacks. Finally, we'll have the Ascended on Chain of Ascension with Inspiration and Transmutation. This is a bit interesting for me since I don't know if the units that transmutate into hybrids will actually begin to support Amon's champion. I think they will. As per usual, small units are not great versus transmutation, and you're better off running hero solos and big beefy armies whenever you can manage. Kerrigan, Swan, Vorazun, Abathur, Dehaka, Tychus, and Zeratul should be really good for this one. Other commanders can be good, but you have to watch out for transmutation. As usual, watch out for nukes if you're playing versus Terran. The faster you clear this map, the better off you'll be because any waves start branching out at some point. These mutators I think will go live in 2 weeks, and I'll have videos for all of them in advance as usual. By the way, if you're interested about the music, it's called Earth Temple 2 by Toby Cornwall. I'll have it linked down below. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have an idea for what else I can do, please leave that in a comment. See you.